Hello, Jonathan Sellers with Spark Outbound here. Today we're having another live session and we're going to be talking about some creative strategies and tactics that we've used with one of our clients specifically that have helped them see some significant growth, since we've been running the campaign. And what we really wanted to talk about today is how do we create those assets? Um, you know, we do things completely from scratch sometimes, but sometimes we take branded assets that already exist and we use those to, for instance, videofy images or things like that, or we take existing video that might be just like longer form and and essentially turn it into what would be ad-worthy versions. And so uh, we as a channel and as a company, Spark Outbound is a lead generation agency focusing on digital marketing tactics such as digital advertising, SEO, outreach, um, and then within that comes content creation, video production, graphic design, really anything needed to drive your lead generation program forward. So if you like that kind of content, please subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell if you want to get notifications when we do lives or when we post other content. And we always are happy if you have questions from what we discuss. We're always happy to answer those. You can put them in the comments, or you can go to our website sparkoutbound.com and contact us through there, and we'll be happy to get back to you and help in any way we can. So today joining me is our creative director, Howard Campbell,
Hey everybody.
and he is an integral part in everything we do, everything creative. But specifically, when it comes to our client campaigns and they, they come, the clients come to us and they have an objective, right? And so we have to take into account what we think are the best strategies and tactics that are going to help them achieve that. And a lot of times, what ends up happening is to really reach those goals, we need more assets that don't currently exist. Um, and so, Howard I will consider Howard extremely skilled at finding creative ways to get what we need to accomplish the goal um, in the most kind of almost like a streamlined way possible. And so we've done that with many clients. And so I'll preface it now. It's linked in the description to this live or to this video. But we have a page on our website. It's our showcase, so you can get a feel for quite a few of the different projects like this that Howard has done, and then we used those assets for ad campaigns. Um, but I think today we want to talk about one specific one. This one is a little different than most of our clients. Most of our clients are in the B2B or franchising world. This is actually an e-commerce client. They have a very niche product, has a very specific use case, and actually very loyal client base, customer base. But we have discovered, so just a really quick synopsis of why we kind of went this direction. So what we discovered is, and this is through our data, so the data we have in analytics, the data we have in our ad accounts, and also Amazon, because they sell on Amazon, and then also some other stuff that the client has access to based off behavior on their website from other tools that they use. And so we figured out that because it's such a niche product, it's not the cheapest version of this solution, right? So you can find other things that are cheaper, but they may not be as effective either. Um, and so we discovered that people previously would not purchase the product from the website until like the fifth or sixth visit to the website. Most we would drive a lot of traffic from people searching for things that were in kind of like solution specific, and so not the brand name, but just the solution. Like they're out here looking for this type of thing, this type of product. And so, you know, from that, and it's the same thing on both Google and Amazon. And people are looking for the solution. They then they're in this research phase, right? Like everybody does. And then when they actually make the purchase, they've actually come back and look at the product specifically multiple times and they're like weighing, is it worth it? Is this going to work in my specific situation and all those kind of things. So we made just a general philosophical change several months ago to a little bit of, I guess, to budget allocation, and we wanted to drive massive awareness because we knew the more people we can make aware of the product, the more people will come and start doing the research, and then that will trickle down to more purchases at the highest level. So we knew because of this loyal customer base that on social, like on Instagram specifically and Facebook and everything else, the brand gets a lot of people submitting content to them. So they're like, hey, check out how I use your product. Um, and so it's really cool pictures and videos and stuff like that. So and I'm going to throw this to Howard to talk about kind of how we came up with this plan. But essentially, we said, hey, we're going to take some of this content, but it's not really usable the way it is for the use case that what we're going to do with it. So, yeah, so Howard, why don't you kind of pick up there and talk about, what we were looking for, what we wanted to accomplish, and then at the end of the day, what we ended up doing, um, which significantly increased their sales are continually increasing over a period of time. Like the trend line is just growing, and yeah. So why don't you kind of fill everybody in on how what we've done?
Oh, sure. So here's the thing. We when it comes to like social media marketing and marketing on Google and such things, we understand that we should go ahead and get people to stop and click. That's always the thing. Stop and click. Make sure that it catches the person's attention, and make sure it causes them to do something. The whole idea of the rule of seven when it comes to advertising, that people got to see something at least 7 times before they make an action. Either they click and say, "Hey, I want to purchase this," or say, "Look at this," say, "No, I'm not interested," or "I want to go to the website or learn more about it." And the thing is that we keep that in mind when we come up with our creatives. So even if it's the images, the videos, or even sometimes the text, one thing we started doing now is using emojis in our in some of the copy. So when the people are seeing it and they're looking at the text, it catches their eye as well. And so that's always our intention, is to grab the person's attention and say, "Hey, check us out." Well, our real intention is to make sure to get people to buy, and the other intention is to make sure we get people to gather the leads. But our initial intention is to get them to say, "Stop! Hey, what's going on here?" And then that we do it a lot of our videos, our images, and some of our text. And so it's just it's pretty cool to sit there and say, okay, how to come up with all this stuff, right? But I'll tell you one thing though, man, and people will tell you this, especially in creative. Sometimes the scariest thing is just an empty page, right? You got to sit there and come up with something when you come up with the empty page, and it's like, okay, where do I start? And that's always the thing on how we're going to how we go from it. And then once you just start writing and just start coming up with the concept, and then it just seems like everything seems to flow with that. And especially when we already have the objective to say, hey, our thing is to make sure that we capture the person's attention. So what can we do to capture their attention? And what's the best not the platform as well, but what's the best way to go about doing it? Do we do it in video? Do we do it in with imagery? And one of our clients, we have done both with video and imagery, but we have noticed that some of the videos that we have been doing with them are doing phenomenal. You know, like I said, and the thing is, like, you'll sit there and you'll watch the thing, and you'll watch like people watching, and you'll see they're like, oh, this many people watched, but then you just look at the number, and the number is almost like 1.5 times more that people who have watched it again, right? So they're seeing the same ad time and time again, and that's what's making them want to come pull over. But it's not saying that this is all the same ad, but especially with something like Facebook, how you can have the dynamic ads, how you can put like different videos in there, and then we can put different copy in there. So then you're sitting there, you can come up with like uh, multiple combinations, and we're just using maybe 3 videos and 4 sets of copy, and so it all looks like different ads, even though it's just, you know, 4 sets of copy in three videos. And I think it's that combination of doing that and just keeping people's attention. I mean, it grabs them. It grabs them. It makes them say, okay, I'm going to do something, and that something is either I'm going to just check out the website and initially purchase, especially when we come to the our e-commerce brand that we're working with. And I'm telling you, man, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Like, everybody always gonna say that things could be better, right? And I agree, but I can't sit there and deny, no pun intended, right? I can't deny that this is working out for the Nylocks. And like I said, not only are we seeing the interaction, but we're also seeing it come with the ad spend well. So now the ad spend has dropped phenomenally, and that's great for us because now we get more ads per dollar than when we did when we first started. And I think that's just a good work for all of us on the team. You know, the videos work, but like you said, the thing is that but I could really sit here and tell you that when it came to the Nylocks, everybody on the team even helped, even Ashley, and she was what's the name? She came up with a really good slogan on that, and I'm grateful for that, man. I was like, oh, that's it, and we have now been using that slogan at the end, and it works. And
Yeah.
so everybody's like, oh well, creativity comes from anybody, right? You're creative, you know. So it's like you'll come up with a good idea. We're like, okay, that works. We run with it. And so and like I said, I know Jonathan's gonna sit here and be all what's the name, be humble about it, but he did a lot. He did a lot, especially when it came to coming up with the audience that we need to show, and that really helped out a lot. What you think, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree that I think it's every piece of the puzzle played in. So what I wanted to do is two things real quick because you hit on you hit on the cost per click, but I want to really quick just explain before we start showing everything what Denylox is. So Denylox is it's a cooler lock system for expensive coolers. So if you have a Yeti cooler, Arctic cooler, all these, coolers, you're dropping hundreds of dollars a cooler, an ice chest. You don't want somebody to just pick it up and walk away with it. So um, Denylox came up with a patented, unique process, which is it secures the cooler to wherever you want it secured. It uses a steel bar system and a locking base. And so you install it. It's a semi-permanent, I would say, to permanent installation, and yeah, it works. And so um, people you don't want to see your cooler go away, you add a system like this. And we're partial to this one for sure. I mean, we see the case studies and the testimonials where people have one and have had people try to steal it. There's many examples literally of that. Somebody has this system. Somebody tried to literally rip the cooler off their truck or off whatever it is that they had it installed on, and it's still there, right? So um, yeah, so it is very niche. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not giving you the audience that we're targeting, but it's very specific. It's a very specific audience. It's very large. It's a large audience, but it's very specific, and it has been very successful on Facebook. But I did want to, before we start showing things, I wanted to give some reality to the numbers here, about what Howard's talking about. So when we're looking at top level, so reach, how many people did we reach in our audience, and how many impressions did our videos get, and our ads as well, because we also have image-based ads that are retargeting this audience and things like that. But we've reached, since January 1st, 222,000 people in this audience. So like I say, it's a big audience, but it's very specific. So this is not a millions of people audience. It's not, but it is, I think there's probably about a half a million people who would fall into this type of thing across the entire US. Um, Impressions is 765,000, but that goes to the fact of what Howard was talking about how we're using all these different variations. So even though we have, that would be almost like a three times per person on average, viewing rate. There's there has been as many as probably 15 or 20 variations running of videos and content throughout the time. So I would say there's definitely been some people who've seen the same thing more than once, but I would say on the whole, it's rare. It's keeping the brand fresh. It's presenting the brand in different situations. And then now with the retargeting that we've been doing more recently. So before I step on that, for through plays, okay, cost per through play on that is less than 1 penny for every ad that we've ran. So across this whole time period, for less than 1 cent US, we are getting through plays on the videos. Um, then we've turned around and combined that, and we've taken the web traffic, and we've taken the viewers, so the people who have viewed these ads, and we retarget them, and we are getting now clicks at around 18 cents back to the website to potentially purchase. Um, so this is all combined with everything else that's happening. So there's Google ads, there's Amazon, there's ads on Amazon and presence on Amazon and all this kind of stuff. Uh, the owner of the company, Jake, does a great job of engaging the audience on organically through social media, specifically Instagram. You should like, if you're into outdoor stuff, like cool outdoor stuff, like follow Denylock on Instagram, and you'll see some cool setups that people have and how they have it installed and the way they're using it and stuff like that. So um, but yeah, so that's what it is. So really great rates, right? So that, to Howard's point, the budget is being it can't be more maximized. It's like you can't pay much less than 1 cent per action, right? It's not possible in US dollars. That is the lowest denomination we have, is 1 cent. So less than 1 cent is great. And 18 cents per click is great. And that's, it's could that go down? Technically, yes, we could get clicks for less than 18 cents, but not much, right? So it's both very efficient use of budget, and it combines by how, what I would say is the concept that Howard's about to show. I'm going to lead into the concept. So I'm going to say, which one do you want to show first, Howard?
Um, I say we could show the Denylock's alert ad because I think that one's very impactful. One thing we was talking about before was that like internal conversations with the team. was that it takes the first 3 seconds is what's needed to capture the person's attention, right? Imagine you're scrolling on your phone, you're scrolling through Facebook and things like that, and then you look there, and then it's like somebody sees it, and it's first 3 seconds, right? And so we was talking about that for a while, and then we finally said, hey, let's try this out real quick. And so you'll see what I mean when you as you watch the video.
Yeah,
But it's
why don't we just watch it with no more explanation, and then we come behind it and explain.
okay, cool. All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and watch it right now. I'm gonna silence us and let this play. All right.
Okay.
So this is us being silent real quick, and we're going to let it play in a second.
I can't I can't hear you. I'm not sure if we can hear
Alright,
each other or you can hear
see how
me.
tough this thing is.
Say something else, Howard. I think we might have lost audio. Say something else, Howard. Oh, okay, I can hear myself. I think I can hear myself, but we're in a weird situation here because I know we're coming through the audio on YouTube. Howard and I don't think Howard and I can hear ourselves. So what I'm going to do really quick is give an overview of those two things. Um, so basically, the first one was a play on the solution, right? So it's alert, alert. So that speaks to what Howard's point was, where basically we wanted to capture the attention. So that is the most blatant way of trying to capture someone's attention. But it was also playing on a news angle, like a breaking news type of angle. And then there were many legitimate examples of news, and it was obviously cited in the video of news organizations reporting on Yeti cooler thieves or how that's happening. And yeah, so it combined several things. It was a strategic use of attention grabbing graphics and audio. It was also playing to the from the consumer's mind, it's planting the reality of the problem that this system solves. Yeah, and then it's also just showing the brand. Then at the end there, you saw the guy trying to open it, trying to break into it, and failed. He failed, like he couldn't do it. Um, so yeah, so I think that was a critical way of just breaking down that. That was a super effective video for us. The Denylock's versus was how Howard came up with this concept. The reason why this concept came to be is a customer. So a customer calls Jake. Jake is the owner of Denylocks, and says, Jake, I've lost my key to my Denylock system. So Jake was like, no problem. I can help you. Can you send back the base? So basically, it was kind of like a situation where it's like, can you send me back the base, or like, it's like how can we do it? Can we rekey the base, or send a new base? And so the guy's like, okay, I'm going to try to take it off. I'm going to try to basically break it off my vehicle, um, and then I'm gonna I'm gonna then turn around and I'll send you the base. So, and I'm gonna record myself doing it. So the one that you saw was the adjustable wrench, but there was actually many tools this person tried to use
Yes.
to to break into the thing, and he failed uh, miserably. But it was great content. But the original content was like a 10-minute video, right? It's just this guy literally doing this. There's no editing to it, nothing like that. So Howard came up with this idea about, what if we position it like it's a wrestling or a boxing type scenario. And yeah, it worked out really good. There's multiple versions of that. So that all the different tools he used, there's multiple different creatives showing him trying it and failing. The secret is that Denylox won. They're the champion, right? Of the whatever that series is. And yeah, and so combining that, so it's like a little bit of humor, kind of a little bit of something unique and different. It just gets people's attention. And if you're somebody who needs this, it definitely catches you off guard as something new. Hundreds of thousands of people have watched it. And yeah, and then that has led to just really steadily increasing sales overall for the company.
I hear you. Oh, well, first off, can you hear
I
me?
can hear you. Yes, I
Okay,
can
no,
hear you
okay.
now.
So if you can hear me, then everybody else can hear me too now. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna just let everybody know, man. We're keeping it real over here at Spark Outbound. So this is a live. This is not a recorded video. We are doing this live right now, and so some technical difficulties going to happen, but not to the point that's going to stop the message from being spread. So back to what Jonathan was saying a moment ago. Yeah, he's right. That especially with the versus series, there are like many different tools that the customer used. And so right now we created two videos from it. We have the adjustable wrench, and then we have the sledgehammer. Right now, if you want to see the sledgehammer, and of course I'm going to do a shameless plug, go to our showcase on the website. It's in the description below, so check it out if you get a chance, right? But and just show another part of it. And the thing is that we still have more to come up with that. And not only that, that's one of the most successful ads that we're running right now. One of the successful um, creatives that we're using for the Nalogs. And so we can create more ads off one piece of content. And that's one of the things that I like about being here and being with Spark Outbound, of course, because Jonathan's a great guy. So let me make sure that's definitely one of the top things. But one of the other top things is that we do have um, clients who willing to give us what they can to help us out with the creatives, right? A lot of they'll give us a lot of raws. They say, hey, this is what we have. What can you do with it, right? And you know we do what we can to make it happen. And like I said, it's a team effort. You know, you sit here, you're so um, into the nitty gritty that you can see somebody see something and go, hey, well, how about we do this, or how about we add that to it? And so most of the stuff that we do is a team effort because, and not just a team effort just from the Spark Outbound team, but also from the clients because um, our thing is that we want to make sure that everybody works together so that everybody wins. You know, we want to make sure that the client get the best bang for their buck. You
Right.
know, and so and that's what we do, and that's how we do it. And I am, like I said, I'm glad to be able to work with the team to come up with such great things. And I'm glad that we can work together and just come up with a lot of stuff. And I'm talking about us here at Spark Outbound as well as the clients as well.
Yeah, I echo that. Like our clients give us a lot of creative freedom in the sense of we show them concepts and they very rarely do clients fortunately say no. Like we've had a couple times where we tried something too crazy and the
Right.
client was like, "That's a little too crazy for us." But for the vast majority of the time, when we show it to them, they're just surprised or impressed by it because yeah, it really does. I think we're using the term videofying it, videofying your content, and I think it's something, I think it's something that provides a lot of value, specifically in a situation like this, like we're trying to do ads and we need creative that gets attention. Um, we work with another strategic partner who creates videos for a lot of our franchise clients, and those videos are amazing, but they're designed for a different purpose. They're not designed for a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad that would be showing in a limited time slot. So sometimes we have to take like these impactful things that are in they're longer, typically 2, 3 minute videos, and we need to pull 15 or 10 to 20 seconds out of those videos. That's like in your face and maybe add some graphics occasionally and things like that. So that's where we feel that's the piece where we can really fit in. If you have this longer form video content, if you have graphics that are key to communicating what it is that your brand does, allowing us to go in there and Howard can just, pull a concept together of how this can be used in a way that's going to grab attention and stand out. And I would echo like, go to the showcase page on our site and take a look at it because it can if we could help you do this. If I mean obviously, if you are liking this concept and you're like, hey, I have these creative assets but I want to do ads or I want to do something else with it, we can help you do that. But at the very least, just check it out. Like you may get some ideas. Maybe you can do something similar on your own, or you have somebody on your team that can do it. Some of them are video based, so it came from a video as the starting point, and then we edited the video or videos together to be more of an ad focused piece. Some of them were images, so some of them were like, hey, we have these images on our website, this is all we have, and we then took that and then either animated it or just combined them in ways with motion and graphics and things like that that just make it more attention grabbing, right, and more applicable for these use cases. So yeah, I would encourage you to check those things out. If you have any ideas or if you want to know if we can do this for you, please reach out. You can, if that's the case, please reach out through our website. That'll be the most efficient way for us to start the conversation, and that's sparkoutbound.com. I think we're closing in on the top of the hour now, so I want to see if Howard has a final sign off related to this or anything else that we didn't cover yet that you want to make sure we get in before we end this one today.
Oh, sure. One thing I don't want to make sure we mention is that we can almost videofy everything. You know what I mean? Like we like if you sit here and say, "Hey, we have this image, and we want this image to come to life and help bring attention. Could you do this for us?" And 9 times out of 10, is we can. And so that's always a good thing to be able to just to take one asset that you already have or already been used or already been created, right? And then turn it into another asset that can be you know what I mean, that's keep stretching it out and saying, hey, you know, here's this image of this, and then we're able to make a video from it. And it's kind of cool to be able to do something like that. Like I said, one thing that this job, this position, and this career has taught me is that Adobe Creative Cloud is your friend. So you can basically, if you learn how to use about 2 or 3 of the programs, it's about like learning a language, right? Once you learn how learn about 2 or 3 languages, you kind of can learn other languages after that. And it's kind of the same with the Adobe Creative Cloud. And yeah, I can truly say I don't know how many other programs I use daily. You know, I know that Photoshop is always open, but we can go into Premiere, we can go into After Effects, we can go into InDesign, we can go to Illustrator, we can go to all of it to turn one asset to another asset. And I think this is a great benefit to not only us, you know, but it's also a great benefit to our clients. And so yeah, I mean I think that this is a great thing, and I think that we can. I mean, to toot our own horn, I think we do a good job, right? But we are definitely happy to do it for clients as well, because like you said, we do this for ourselves, and so if we're gonna do it for ourselves, we're gonna make sure we're doing it right. So if we're doing that for us, we definitely gonna do it for the clients. And that's about it. What I have to say about it. But I mean, like I said, it's definitely there's more coming. And like I said, we already have a lot on our showcase page, which is the link down below. So check it out when you get a chance. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to add more videos, more images, and things, and some more examples of things that we have worked on.
Very cool. Yeah, and 100%. I think it is very important. I think it's cool. I think it's another way to look at overcoming challenges with marketing and digital marketing specifically. If how do we get content? Um, like, do we have to go through these huge projects to get content every time? The answer is not always. Like, sometimes you do. Sometimes you really need to bring in a videographer or a photographer, and it's essential because it's so critical, it's such a critical piece of content. But you just got to really think about being efficient with that, right? So some of that is needed sometimes. Sometimes you can amplify the value of that content by doing these type of things and taking pieces out that are really pivot pieces, changing the format, using them on different platforms and things like that. And then yeah, it's a great way to further your message, be efficient with your budget, and it can amplify your results. It can, really increase your results, as we've seen in these campaigns and along with other campaigns as well. But this one specifically is pretty cool because it is an e-commerce product. It is niche, and it's a cool concept that Howard came up with. So I thought we both thought this would be a good one to discuss today. So that's going to wrap us up for today. Thanks for joining us. If you stuck around, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you will get a notification whenever we go live again. We look forward to speaking with you next week, where we will be talking about uh, we're jumping back into outreach next week. I got it on the calendar here. So we're going to be talking about how we analyze our outreach campaigns and what we're looking for to see if a campaign is heading in the right direction, if it's going to be successful, or if we need to make adjustments. So I want to thank Howard again for joining today. He'll be back soon, I'm sure.
Yes.
And otherwise, we'll talk to you next week. See ya.
All right. See you.